Hey Taurus, I hope you guys are doing great. It's the Tipsy Intuitive here to do your soul lesson reading. We're going to take a peek at what Spirit wants you to know about your next steps and how best you can navigate them, what lesson is coming up in life for you. So we're going to start by pulling a couple of oracle cards just to see what overall energy is surrounding this reading for you guys. And the first card that we have for you is Go the Distance. Let's see what else comes out for you. Overall energy for my Taurus collective for their soul lesson. Wow. Okay. We have two that came out for you. And the two that we have for you are action and wonders. So what it looks like off the break. So with going the distance, action and wonder, it feels like there is a world of opportunity that's sort of waiting for you, but it's going to be on you in terms of taking those steps and actually following through on the things that you sort of have envisioned for yourself. It feels like, Taurus, for a lot of you, that you have these sort of big wide eyes when it comes to the world and everything that it has to offer. It's almost like that saying, like when little kids go to a restaurant and they want to order every single thing on it, it's like their eyes are bigger than their plate. That's what it feels like for you right now, that you're just sort of looking wide-eyed, like, oh my God, I want this, I want that, I want this. And you have all of these big, beautiful plans, but there might be a little bit of follow through that's lacking for you. So it might be a situation where you start off like incredibly strong and you're super motivated. And then as the days, the weeks go by, that motivation kind of like starts sliding a little bit. And it's not because you don't genuinely want these things that you're pursuing. There's just something that's sort of blocking you from doing it, right? From going the distance. So I feel like the next step in your life journey is really going to be centered on you being disciplined, being dedicated, putting in the energy and the effort that's needed to move forward and actually following through until things are completed. So the card that best describes your soul lesson, we have here for you the High Priestess. So this is the card of knowing, right? And I feel like, again, this is what you have deep down in your gut. That's like, you know that this was meant for you. You absolutely know it. But again, it feels as though you're not necessarily taking, that last step that you need to get there. And we have that clarified by the Seven of Swords in reverse. Now, the Seven of Swords is typically a card that indicates sort of a little bit of deceptiveness. I feel like in this situation, this is a card of shortcuts, right? Trying to trim those corners a little bit, try and skirt around things, really not giving it a ton of effort. And so it feels like your soul lesson is really going to be focused on not doing that, like giving it 100%, putting everything that you have behind this mission and making sure that you finish it out. Now, this lesson is going to manifest itself with the Strength card in reverse. And so this feels like you're going to be placed in a situation where you are being tested, where your willpower is sort of like being called into question by Spirit. Like, is this actually something that you want? Is this something that you're going to be willing to try for? And we have that clarified by the Eight of Swords in reverse. Are you going to get out of your own way? Are you going to continue stopping yourself from achieving this goal that you have, of pursuing this dream that you have? Like, how hard are you willing to fight for it? And are you going to be in your own way? Are you going to be able to get out of your head? Are you going to be able to unstick yourself enough to take those action steps, to go the distance? Now, one of the ways that you can absorb this lesson gracefully, this is interesting. So we have the Eight of Cups And we also have that clarified by the Seven of Wands. So I feel like Spirit is saying that the best way for you to get through this is to walk away from maybe a bit of this inner conflict that you have, this sort of push and pull that you're experiencing, between wanting it and being willing to put the work in to actually get there. With the Seven of Swords, this is you fighting for it. This is you defending that thing that you're looking to accomplish. So I feel like Spirit is saying, there are a couple of things that you're going to have to leave behind on this journey. If you want to take this next step, you're going to have to walk away from, I think, literally the way that you were operating before, right? Not finishing things out, not seeing things through. Now, why this lesson is aligned with who you are or who you sort of want to be, we have the Ace of Swords in reverse. So it's interesting because the Ace of Swords upright is sort of, that's my truth-telling card, right? This is sort of looking at things very strategically, almost looking at it with a very harsh eye and figuring out whether or not this is, something is truly for you. This is you sort of speaking your truth. And I think that the reason that this is in reverse is that you haven't been, I think, completely honest with yourself in terms of the effort, in terms of the discipline that you've been putting forth towards this goal that you have. So I feel like Spirit is saying that this is time for you to sort of realign what it is that you truly want. And maybe there were some things that once upon a time sounded good that were not, necessarily for you. Maybe that's why you didn't put the effort in. But I think that there is something that you have been imagining for yourself that in your heart is what's truly meant for you. It's the path that you should be on. And I feel like Spirit is saying, okay, well, if that's the case, if we've narrowed it down to that one thing, that one or two things right now that you want in your life, stop wasting time on other things that you're only going to do halfway. This is now the time for you to commit yourself to this path that you want to be on. And we have that clarified for you by the Two of Wands. So this is someone who is looking at their options. And I think that that's where you are right now, is in a place of exploring, right? That you are sort of looking at all of these things that you want, all of these things that you envision. And it's like, okay, what do I need to do? What are my options to move forward? What steps do I need to start taking for this? So that's becoming more and more in alignment with these beautiful things that you see. Now you're starting to explore how much it truly means to you and whether or not you're willing to go all out to actually try and get there. So the opportunities that exist for you, the Four of Swords in reverse. Now, the Four of Swords, when it's upright, is all about rest. It's all about a period of quiet, not really doing too much. There's going to be an opportunity for you to take action. Whatever this sort of floating type of energy that's coming in, that you've sort of been in, that's going to change. So there is going to be a moment that comes up that's going to ask you, are you going to act now? Are you going to take action on this thing that you want? And are you willing to finish it out? So that's going to be an opportunity that comes up. That's a choice that you're going to have to make. But we do have the Six of Cups to clarify. So this is a very, very light energy. It might be something that you have sort of explored in the past, but maybe set to the side. You didn't quite bring that vision into fruition. So keep an eye out for something that comes back around where there's an opportunity for you to take action. Because it seems like something that you started that kind of came to a halt is now going to be the thing that comes up. That's going to be your opportunity to move forward. Now, following your heart, sort of following this new path that you're going to find yourself on, we have the Devil in reverse. So this is another warning from Spirit. Those bad habits that you may have fallen into in terms of not following through, in terms of, not giving your all, you need to put that to the side, because we also have the 10 of Cups in reverse. If you want your happiness, if you want to take full advantage of this opportunity, you are going to have to go for it. And you are not going to be able to hesitate. You're not going to be able to half-ass. You're not going to be, being stuck in your head is not going to get you there. So I feel like Spirit is saying that the best thing for you to do is acknowledge that this is something that you truly want. And you have to want it more than the other stuff that you've been doing. So, admittedly, Taurus, being a little bit lazy, being a little bit lackadaisical about the entire thing. I feel like Spirit is saying, go after this like your happiness depends on it. And we all know that happiness truly, truly comes from within, but external things can be a really nice enhancement if that's what you want. So Spirit is saying to let go of, the bad habits that you may have had before, that may have prevented you from moving forward on whatever this past, goal or whatever challenge was, because it's something that actually can present you with really, really good things. It may take a little while, and I feel like that's going to be part of the test, right? That's going to be part of your journey. How willing are you to persevere, even when things get a little bit challenging? Now, for the last message that we have from Spirit, we have address your addictions. And so I think that for many of you, this is not a situation where, you're drinking too much, you're smoking too much, you're doing too much of whatever. I almost feel like in this case, the addictions may be your bad behavior, maybe a pattern that you sort of set over time about not bringing things to completion. So I feel like in the midst of all of this, Spirit is asking you, why do you do that? Why don't you see things through? Why aren't you giving it 150%? And I think that once you get to the root of why that is, whether you get bored or you're unsure of yourself or you're worried that things won't work out, it's one of those things where it's like, expect the best. Give it 1,000% and say, you know what? I'm going to give it all I can, and I'm going to let the universe take care of the rest. If this is something that you truly want, you're going to have to invest. And so Spirit is saying, take a peek at, your past goals and why you didn't necessarily bring them to completion, because that's going to be the answer. That's the lesson that Spirit wants you to learn right now for your next steps. So I'm going to leave it there for you, Taurus. I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that it resonated. If it did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more readings and more empowering content, because I know that you all got this. But in the meanwhile, stay safe, stay healthy, and I am sending you all huge hugs.